Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, December 2nd, and we are looking at the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. Last 2 days, we are back into balance on the daily, monthly and weekly, still up. We still have the daily gap. Basically, the market did today what we expected it to do. Where we were opening, said I would not be surprised they go and get the monthly gap and hold the daily gap. And that's exactly what they did. And then we spent the morning with shorts covering as we one time framed up. Never had single prints. We had a chance for 4 sets of single prints today. And we went 0 for 4. Every trade I took today was from the short side. Why? Because of trade location, which I'll go over in a minute, and which I explained to the room. Both sides were able to make money today, from the long side and the short side, because we didn't go trend. It wasn't fading the trend day. That's why one time framing up to me is not a trend day. And there's a huge difference in the context of it. So let's look at the other ones real quick, and then I'll go over my trades. The Russell came out of an inside day to the downside, 5-day balance, but look what happened. Look what happened at the balance low. Sellers got cut off, went back in. They tried a couple other times to have an inside day down. They kept getting rejected. We actually went out with a price probe and almost had a set of single prints that held. So Russell is firmly in a 6-day balance. Triple Qs, P-shape, 10 wide. However, they did have a set of single prints that hold. Barely, but it's still a trend day, even though it's a P-shape and 10 wide. We also go out with a price probe. We had 2 reversal bars in J and L, and J's really set the tone really for later in the day then, as it looked like change had taken place above G. We were going to have single prints that possibly hold, but that did not happen. We don't go 9 wide. We only go 7 wide, actually. We do go out with an afternoon. I use an afternoon pullback low in J. And volume was horrible. I mean, we're at 42 million shares right now. So the volume is very poor on the day. So again, who won the day? Well, I think buyers can say they're in really good shape going into tomorrow. Because if this is all the sellers wanted to do, well, now we can go and attack the all-time high again. As far as my trades, again, all shorts. I took a short. Now, I played Friday's expiration. I played different ones. Most of them were the 367s early in the day. So I took a short in a period. We had lower value. Didn't think we would get back into M's range right away. We actually gapped lower for pennies. I took the short to go fill the monthly gap. That worked out. Then I started fading new highs, and this is what I'm talking about with trade location. We kept making new highs in B, C, D, E, but each and every time we came back in, when the new time frame started, they couldn't take out the previous time frame's high yet and filled singles. So that's the context I'm talking about. I shorted C, I shorted D, I shorted E. All of them based on filling single prints, no tempo to the upside, things of that nature. Now, they eventually took out the next time frame's high, but when I took those shorts, so in other words, I took the short in C period. C opened, didn't take out B's high right away. I didn't think there would be any singles that hold. And that's what happened. Same thing in D. I took the short, didn't think single prints would hold. I didn't hold them for long. So you could have been shorting the top of each time frame's high with the lack of tempo we were getting, and then going long when it came in, as long as you were one time framing up. So both sides could make money. H period, I took a short when we took out G's low to stop the one time framing up. Didn't get much for it, but it worked. I did it again in I when it came down. Now, I held on to it, the one in I and J. Now, in J, I was looking for the afternoon pullback to take my first long that I wanted. At the time where halfback was and where value low was, it didn't get to there. I got picky. Not complaining I missed it because I wanted to get it at a price I wanted to get it because of trade location. Well, so I never got the long. And then I took a short again in K based on the same thing with no acceleration to the upside. And again in M period. And then finally put it to bed. Now, what I was going to do one more, but I didn't, was when M looked like it was going to probe, I'm like, I'm not surprised if we probe and come right back in. And it did do that. Came in pretty hard. Made the new high in the day and came in 40, 50 cents. But I didn't get the trade off. And then in N period, as you can see, new highs. So good day overall. The room had a good day. The algos were readable, which makes trading easier. The volume, though, was horrible. Under 43 million shares right now at the after hours. All right. Destinations for tomorrow. Upside. We have, I didn't even write it. We have today's high of 366.96. That's today's high. And then we have yesterday's high, an all-time high of 367.68. For the downside, we have the price probe. Remember, even though M period came in, once we took out L's high, that's a price probe. So even though we close, depending, I'm not sure where they're going to show the settlement, but even though we went below, we don't know until A period tomorrow because that's when the day starts again for me, if the price probe's accepted or not. So they have us closing at 366.79. So that's a little bit below where L's high is, but we're still using L's high of 366.89. Then the afternoon pullback of 365.49, and then today's low of 362.40, and filling the daily gap of 363.12. So it's still a 108-point gap. And then we'll go to the charts. Monthly gap's filled, but the monthly's up. As far as I'm concerned right now, I'm calling the monthly up. We're staying above the 4-month balance. Weekly, up. One-time framing up. Right now, this is 5 weeks. Pretty healthy. We want to get distance, but still pretty healthy. Daily, balance. 2-day balance. Today's low is the bottom of it. Yesterday's high is the top of it. So one of two things will happen tomorrow. If we take out today's low, then the odds of filling this gap get a lot better, and the getting accepted back into this mess also gets better. If we take out yesterday's high, obviously new all-time high, then the question is, what kind of extension do we get to the upside? I hope you had a great day trading. Have a great evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.